open it up to the private sector. The private sector can't do any worse. It's already as bad as it can be. Don't gamble with money that Nigeria doesn't have. If the government did have the revenue and you want to, gamble with it, it's fine. But to go and borrow at home and abroad, why do you not let the people who want to loan you the money come and invest it as they did?
In other words, the talk about Nigeria Airways, bringing it back, if we have to do that, it has to be this that you talk about, the private sector driven.
Okay, there is a middle way between, private sector and public. Another example of successful investment in Nigeria is the liquefied natural gas project. It's 50% government, 50% private, more or less. But government is in a joint venture arrangement with a consortium of private investors who bring the technical expertise and half of the funding. If that was how you were going to fix the refineries, it would make good sense. Fix, the Nigeria Airways, it would make good sense. 50% government, 50% private sector. If that's how you want to fix pipelines, it will be fine. But there are some segments that you should open up completely.
Okay, she also talked about flexibility in our monetary policy. What do you think she was talking about specifically?
Oh, well, the restrictions that the central bank has recently put in place in the wake of the shortage of foreign exchange. And again, the way forward to a sustainable exchange rate is to attract foreign investment. As long as you continue to have outflow and you don't induce inflow, like the other governments have cited, China gets a lot from foreign investment, it's just not trade earnings. India gets a lot from foreign investment, it's not just trade earning. There's no country that can sustain a stable exchange rate if all you rely upon is what you earn from export. That's why countries go out of their way to cut foreign investment. Nigeria needs to start on that road, even to get a stable naira or to get.
But we've done that. Sorry to interrupt you, Sulaiman. We've done that before. I mean, in terms of going to court foreign investors, we've seen that train going up and down. They go to Asia, they go to. What did we really get from that?
Well, you were paying lip service to foreign investment. If you were looking for investors, you are first of all going to open up the sectors where you want them to invest. You keep saying foreign investor, you keep making foreign trips, and I'm surprised that rather than you telling me this sector, when you offered telecoms, you got investment. The Nigerian government could never have borrowed the quantum of investment that we attracted in telecoms, however hard they tried. And if they did borrow half of that, by now, the IMF will not be smiling at us. So the way forward, we have a track record of success in attracting and retaining foreign investment. We should replicate that. That's my message. And a new government is best placed to do that, because the world is willing to give a new government a chance where previous governments have failed.
It might still look hazy and really sketchy for now, but if you look at what has happened in the year 2015 till this very moment, 2015 till this moment, and people are also talking about things that are happening. For instance, the breaking story that occurred yesterday about, now you've mentioned telecoms quite a number of times, Visaphone being acquired by MTN. Is it what is happening to the economy? Because the signal some people are already getting is that some businesses are closing shop, while we're getting to see some takeover of some businesses by some other bigger ones. How do you expect this to translate into smaller businesses and even bigger businesses not closing shop? Instead, we should get more people to come into the country and invest more.
Right. Well, until you know the reasons why the MTN is acquiring Visaphone, we cannot say it's because Visaphone was having problems. You know, people go into M&A for various reasons. It could be to tap economies of scope, you know, or for reasons of economies of scale. However, one cannot deny that the year 2015 was difficult for business, not least because of the restrictions in foreign exchange. Banks are going through very difficult time. Banks are going through very difficult time, with the forex restrictions, and the traders are having difficulty getting the forex, to make payments. And I understand a few companies closed shop, and a few more are finding it difficult to survive. You get to the supermarkets, you find empty shelves, so things are difficult. And the government needs to speak to those difficulties.
And we did ask them, don't they get feedback from these policies? They say, of course we get feedback, and we're working and we're sure that, look, things go right. But as it is, there are more people complaining.
Right. The president did speak about the issues, he addressed them, explicitly. But what he didn't do is to say how and how soon these problems will be tackled. And I think the government needs to get on the same page with operators, and say how the problems that hurt them will be resolved. Not that we will solve all the problems. You can always say that.
Just wondering though, I mean, the incentive for people to produce locally, would you say that there are enough incentives for people to produce locally?
Well, we all are agreed on the reason why it's not competitive to produce locally. We are all agreed.
But in spite of that, some people are still producing.
Wait. We are all agreed on what to do to solve those problems. And the key ones, if you deliver on infrastructure, if there's steady power supply, if there's rail transport, it's going to bring down transportation costs, especially for haulage. And companies will become competitive. Producing here will become competitive compared with elsewhere. Right now, you say some people produce. We are not saying that production is zero. In Nigeria, you have an installed capacity to produce car of about 150,000 cars, but you don't get to produce 10% of that in a year because of these infrastructural bottlenecks. So it's cheaper to import. But if you fix, energy, if you fix energy, if you fix rail, then you will get to utilize more of the installed capacity.
I have a follow-up. Sorry, I have a follow-up to that. Would you also say that government is doing enough to promote the goods that are made here in Nigeria? Are people aware of the advantages of buying here in Nigeria as well?
However you promote the advantages of goods that are produced in Nigeria, maybe I should drive this home, by an example. Morocco has an economy that is about 1/5 of Nigeria. They manufacture much more than Nigeria. They export much more than Nigeria. I'm told that they make 60 cars per hour, or 60 vehicles. It could be, trucks, whatever, per hour, which means they make 1 car per minute. That's Morocco. As small as they are, their governments have successfully intervened in the manner in which we are, aspiring